everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, How to Decorate Like a Pro, a designer's secrets, tips, tricks, and hacks. My name is Lori, and we are going to talk about how to redecorate your house without spending any money. I know that seems crazy. How is that possible? But it's completely possible, and I'm going to walk you through it so that you can have some fun and figure out what you can do to make your house look fresh and new with spending no money. Okay, so to do this, you don't have to necessarily buy all new furniture to get a redecorated look. Step one is shop your own home. A lot of times we will put things away in closets or basements or attics and forget about them, but they may be something that can come back out and have new life in a new place. So go ahead and pull all those out and put them in one area, maybe in the middle of your living room, and create your own little shop. You've got lamps and accessories and furniture, artwork, and you may be able to repurpose them, which we are going to talk about here in a minute. And another thing you can do is trade with friends, because I guarantee you, just like you, there are items that your friends have that they are completely sick of and want to get rid of, but it may be the perfect piece for your home. So reach out, talk to your friends, maybe have a party, a little wine, have some fun, and swap your furniture and accessories. So once you've got all of these accessory pieces, furniture pieces kind of gathered in one space, obviously I don't expect you to move your sofas and big heavy chairs all into this one space, but it'll give you a little bit better at a glance look at what you have. You can group things together by style or color and then move them into the rooms that you think that they might work in. And then you can go from there. And while you are doing this, or maybe not while, because it might be difficult to be two places at one time, but you can rearrange your furniture yourself just in kind of some test areas to see if you like where this, let's say, chair that you have in one room, maybe it'll work in a different room. So you pick it up, move it, maybe with the assistance of somebody else so that you don't hurt yourself. But look at it this way, bonus, it's a workout. So two birds with one stone. You're welcome on that little tip there. But you can put these furniture pieces in this new home and give them kind of a trial run, see how you like it, see what it looks like, see how the room flows. So that's a really good way. Literally just rearranging your furniture pieces may make a huge difference. So I'm going to show you some examples of what I'm talking about. Okay, so here you can see some examples of how rearranging your furniture can make a huge impact. On the photo on the left-hand side, you can see they had their two love seats in a pretty typical L arrangement. They've got their chest with a TV on top of it in the corner on an angle, and their ottoman there on the side of that love seat. So just by pulling around the love seat and making it across from the other love seat and rotating the coffee table, and it looks like they added another area rug and they straightened up where the TV is located. It has a completely different feel. It actually feels more open. So I think this is a super simple thing you could easily do to give your room a completely different look. In the center photo, you can see that they've got the sectional in the corner, which we've talked about in a previous episode, that if at all possible, try not to line your furniture along your walls. So they pulled it out and created a division of space so it really feels like its own separate little space there by putting the back of the sectional on one side as kind of a dividing I'm guessing between the kitchen and the family room area. And they moved the chair to that corner, kind of where the angled wall is with the TV, which you can't see in the second photo, and just resituated their coffee table. And looks like they got new lamps, which thank God, because the ones up top, no, just don't do that. And they also added a credenza piece, which maybe they got that from somewhere else in their house, and put the TV on top of that instead of having it on that angled wall, which makes it difficult to watch. So I think this is a really good example of how it can completely change the look of your room just by moving around furniture. And in the third photo, another option that's great, which I've done it myself in the past, is take apart your sectional. You think of it always that it's not just one big unit, it's several units connected together, and they don't necessarily have to be used together. So these people took off quite a bit actually, and put the Chase lounge along the window wall on an angle. It creates kind of a cozy nook, and put a throw on it, and reconfigured where the main portion of that sectional goes, and it looks awesome. It opens up the room. That sectional before, where it's all pieced together, is massive for that size room. So this brings it back into scale. So this just shows you at a glance what a difference just moving the furniture in your room around can make. So we had talked previously about repurposing pieces that you already may have, or that you were able to swap with your friends and get some pieces that they no longer needed and give them some of the pieces that you no longer needed and can repurpose them. So on the top left, you can see that using a bar height table can easily become a kitchen island, which gives you obviously more counter prep space and a place for some stools. And the next picture over is you can use baskets, stack them, put a book on them, as this case shows, so you have a more solid area if you wanted to set a drink down or something, and you have an end table. Then the following picture next to that is using garden stools. Maybe you have some that are in good shape that you really aren't using, or you can go even to like a Big Lots and buy some garden stools, especially when it's off season. Get them for really cheap, group them together, and it creates a coffee table for you. Bottom left, a lot of people have these armoires that everybody bought in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s to house generally a television, but now televisions have become much smaller and more sleek, so people are hanging them on their wall, and you're like, what do I do with this huge armoire that I have? A great idea is turned it into a bar. This person added, it looks like some either wallpaper wood look paneling, or maybe it's actual wood look paneling, and threw in some lights, which you don't have to get that fancy. But you could get those little adhesive puck lights where you just click them on and off, and that'll give you the same effect. And this is a super great idea to repurpose that cabinet into a bar. The next one, which is really, really basic, is to convert a ladder into a blanket rack. You can lean it against the wall in a corner of your family room, and you can use more than one blanket and make it have a cozy feel. And it's also functional because then it gives you somewhere to hold your blankets other than putting them on the back of the sofa. Now, I'm not saying use your aluminum ladder. It needs to be a wooden ladder. Otherwise, it's going to look like you moved your garage into your living room, which nobody wants. So, ladder to blanket rack. The next picture is a pretty common just stool that you can get pretty much anywhere, and you may already have some in your home. And it doesn't have to look like that. Any kind of a lower stool would work, but you could use that as a bedside table. You know, does the trick, holds lamps and books and your remote or whatever you have in your bedroom. So I think that's a great use of a piece that you wouldn't normally think it would be used for. And then the one next to it, same kind of idea, but it's with a plant stand. And you can use that as a bedside table or even a side table next to your sofa in the family room. So these are great ideas to repurpose furniture. Okay, so here are some more ways that you can repurpose furniture and also update them pretty easily. So, bottom left, which I'm actually doing currently, is using a dresser behind a sofa, and then it can easily become a console table and also give you lots of extra storage space. Currently, I am using it to hold extra paper plates, napkins, silverware for parties. So it's great for that use. And it also gives you a surface behind the sofa to maybe add some lamps and some decorative accessories. I'm guessing this particular dresser got repainted. So it has a fresh, clean look, and it's very handy and has a nice purpose in its repurposed home. And the picture above it, say you have an old, very basic coffee table, maybe it's laminate, it's not super high end looking or pretty, or very dinged up. You could very easily go to like a Joann's or Hobby Lobby, somewhere that sells foam, upholstery foam, and you can cut it to a square or rectangle or circle, whatever size and shape the table is. Glue it down with some spray adhesive onto that tabletop. Get some fabric, and you don't even actually have to sew it. That's a little secret there. You can just make some folds and kind of fold it over to create that corner, and get your staple gun and you staple gun to the underside of the table, and boom, you have an ottoman. Totally fresh looking piece. So that's a great, great idea too, to make it look like you have a whole new piece of furniture when you don't. In the center photo, you can see that this person has some very basic beige barrel chairs, and they're really nice. The shape's great. Barrel chairs are super in right now, but they're a little bland. So they added two brightly colored throws, and it adds such a huge impact to those chairs, gives them a fresh new look, and gives the room a much warmer feel. And lastly, on the right, there's always good old slip covers. Maybe the person on this picture inherited grandma's sofa, and it lived its life, did a great job, but is totally out of style and needs freshening up. So there are several sites you can purchase slipcovers on. They don't necessarily all look like this as far as super and upholstered looking, but even the ones that are just kind of a complete throw that cinches over top of the sofa gives it a completely different look and makes things look fantastic. So another great way to freshen up a space is through artwork. And it's a quick, easy, painless way to make your space look freshened up and new. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to do this for free or basically free. I have done several of these things and they have worked out wonderfully. So on the far left, fun thing to do is to take a famous quote from a book, and you can type it up into some free editing software. I like Pixlr.com, Pixlr. It is super user friendly, easy to use, and you can type out what you want it to say. You can use some of their tools on there to create that straight line under the C.S. Lewis, add a page number at the bottom, and put it on a sepia background, and then send it to Staples through email and have it printed out in a larger size. And you have some really sophisticated looking artwork, easy and pretty much free. In the center photo, you can get creative. You can get a existing ugly canvas that you have, or one that you're just sick of looking at with an existing picture painted on it. Or you can go to the dollar store or Big Lots or wherever you have that's super cheap, get something on clearance, something you know nobody would buy, and that's why it's marked down so cheap. Take it home, get out your acrylic paints, and paint a nice abstract, simple piece like this one that's shown. Literally, no offense to artists out there, but anybody could do this, and it looks high end, it looks modern, and it would take almost nothing to do. On the top right, you can use a stencil over existing artwork. Again, an ugly canvas or print that you have. Paint the background, something neutral, and get a stencil. It doesn't have to be Buddha, but it can be a design or something a little bit more specific. So put your stencil there, and you have an instant new piece of artwork. And the really big trend lately is stucco, kind of a 3D relief artwork. And on the bottom right photo, you can see that it's really simple. Again, you get your existing artwork, and it would work maybe easier on a canvas. This one is framed, but you could do it either way. Get maybe a trowel or some kind of way to apply. I'm sure there's something you have around, maybe even a piece of cardboard where you cut notches into it, and you throw some stucco on the canvas, make your little design however you want it. It doesn't have to be this in particular, but just so you know, this would cost you $137 on Wayfair, and you could do it for nothing. And besides these ideas, you could also go to your friendly internet and look up images of, let's say you like botanicals. Pull up a botanical print, save it as a JPEG, print it out, and frame it, and you have art. And another thing you can do is maybe you have an old calendar that you bought because it has beautiful landscape photos. You could tear those out, throw them in a frame, and again, fresh new art at no cost to you. And remember, the internet is your friend. It has all kinds of resources and pictures, and you can go to Google search and type in whatever you like, and voila, you have a cat riding a unicorn with a firearm. Maybe that's your jam. Print it out, throw it in a frame, and you have some instant, very unique art. So, hopefully, those gave you some really good ideas and pointers on how you can redecorate your house at no cost to you, or maybe just a little cost, but bare minimum. So, enjoy. I hope you have fun doing it. I know when I do it, I have a ton of fun. I do it often to my husband's dismay because he comes home and things are in a new spot every week. And however, sometimes he doesn't notice for a week, but that's another story for another day. So hopefully you liked what you saw. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you next time. Thanks and have a great day.